I understand you have advanced technology, and I want to know how that can be scaled or organized across different regions in Uganda. Before we even talk about different regions in Uganda, how can it be scaled here in Uganda?
It's a very good question, but if it's okay, I will yield to another speaker. I think we forgot something. So maybe have a prayer first?
Right, thank you. We pray fast.
We had already prayed.
We pray. If you want to ask us, okay, but you are not here. You can pray. I said, the fear of the Lord. He knows what he's saying. So let's pray. Father God, thank you for this wonderful moment again. Thank you for the gift of life for each one of us who are here, and all our people around Uganda and elsewhere. Thank you for the peace that prevails in this nation. Thank you for all of us who are able to attend this meeting. Father, bless everyone in this place, and let the hospitality as never we are going to have shared here for the good of the nation and each one of us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
So the question was about technology.
Yes.
And we are proud of our technology. That is what. But why is also important? Actually, more important. So the professor made me understand now. Do you know what we have? We have made a hippo. Do you know why the hippos are important for the wetlands? Somebody said yes. Who was that? Why are the hippos important for the wetlands?
Thank you very much. You're talking about the hippos, hippopotamus. Yeah, the scientific name is Hippopotamus amphibius. I love them so much. They are very important in various ways. Number one, their dung, their poop is food to very many phytoplanktons. These are small microscopic organisms within water bodies, and they are responsible for the functionality of the ecosystem of the wetland. For instance, many of them algae, or they are green in color, they contain chlorophyll, and by doing so, during their photosynthesis, that is through which they make their food, they evolve, they produce, they liberate oxygen. And this oxygen is going to enrich the waters, and as a result, the waters are going to be healthy for all the fauna within. When I talk about fauna, I'm talking about the animal life in there, talk about the amphibians, the fish, the reptiles, the birds, the list is endless. So hippopotamus are very, very important. And besides that, they churn the bed. As they do so, they are mixing nutrients within there, thereby ensuring the productivity of the water bodies, specifically the wetland. And again, thirdly, these hippopotamus, as they do the churning, they are going to ensure equal distribution of nutrients, the phosphates, the nitrates, the list is endless. So I love them so much, and they must thrive, and therefore we must protect the wetlands. I submit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the answer to our issues is the hippos. Sure. Can we give him 2 months time?
Yes. Fine.
For me, always a problem which animal love more, beavers or hippos. Beavers can really build their own environment. But when you have wetland with hippos, it's also that they make channels where the water can flow. And fully agree. There's one animals. And you should introduce hippos in more areas and make them loved by people around.
That we should introduce them. Yeah, but with introduction, for it to be effected, we must study the process before we effect it. After thorough study and with inquiries from leading agencies, we shall do so. But luckily, most of the wetlands we have hippos.
That's nice.
Yeah, we prefer in situ conservation. We prefer in situ conservation. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you understood what I'm getting at, but if we remove something, we as people can help to solve the issues as well. So hippos are wonderful, but they are also scary. So people have a tendency not to want them around themselves. If you extract the hippos, we have very many nice words about hippos. For me, they are the gardeners of the wetlands, simply put. And if you remove the gardener, maybe we as people need to help with the gardening. And then the Truxor can be the lone mover of the wetland. When we speak about sustainable water management, we know about the word sustainable, right? What does sustainable mean? No? Sustainable means that you have to be able to do it for a long continuous time. And what we with the machine can help with is the horsepower revolution. How many tons of water hyacinth can Truxor remove in one day? 25 tons. So we can do it in a sustainable way. Because if you're going to do it with the people, how many people would you need to remove 25 tons of water hyacinth per day? It's not sustainable, right? So with the machine, we can make the management sustainable. We can help the nature and try to manage nature. But yeah, so again, we speak about technologies, and we are a small part of it. But it's really about systems, not about technologies.
Okay.
I do have an answer. Is a hippo eats about 50-60 kilogram of food per night. So one Truxor is 20 hippos, 50 hippos. So actually it's a very effective hippo even.
Yeah. So we make a very effective hippo, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that I like the hippos a little bit better, but our machine is slightly more effective than a hippo.
Thank you.
Yeah. I yield.
Thank you. In case you have a question, you can actually ask. But personally, I have one for people from Ministry of Transport, from Ministry of Water and Environment. If you forgive me, it's because I've been talking with this guy from Scania. I think now transport has stick in my mind. I don't know if you're really comfortable talking about the policy gaps currently affecting the wetland conservation in Uganda. If you're in position, then we'll be happy to hear from you.
Thank you. May I request that you allow us to make a presentation, then from the presentation we will be able to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now that you have committed to present us, that's a very good one. Only that this was a by the way, but if you have it in your presentation, it's okay with me. From audience, I've had someone who is an environmental scientist, and she has been engaged in environment activism for a long time with Uganda Youth Go Green. And I know for a fact that she's so passionate about environment. Please.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. Speaking about environment is my passion. Once again, my name is Bridget Charikunda, but mine is basically to the wetland equipment. My concern is how sustainable are they? In terms of, do you consider electric equipment? If not, if you're using fossil fuels, don't you think you're increasing the carbon footprint as well? And then the other is the uptake. I'm wondering how rural communities would be able to tap in this. Lastly is on what Ministry of Water and Environment issued a statement last month about the smell of the water in Lake Victoria increasing. Why? People are doing a lot of proper waste management. Of course, we Ugandans are the reason. So if you're removing the algae, then what next? What do you use it for? I'm looking at the management part of it. After extraction of algae, after extraction of slate, grit, water management, I was reading through your website and I see quite a lot of environment-friendly approaches that this equipment helps us achieve. But what next? Remove the algae, what next? Then how are the youth able to ably take part in these? Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, she's so passionate about the environment.
So it was very good questions. So please bear with me if I miss something and ask them again. But the first question was about how can a machine be sustainable? And if you want to, in the machines, you can use the biodiesel. And with the biodiesel, it actually will be carbon neutral. But I think that is looking at that a little bit too narrowly. Because what actually my professor is teaching me is that it's a waste to waste waste. I would say that one more time. It's a waste to waste waste. What do the water plants do? Why do we have the algae? Why do we have the water hyacinths? The water hyacinths is not the problem. The water hyacinths might be the solution. As I learned from my new friend, we know about the dryers, right? And the drivers are the eutrophication. It's a hard word that took me maybe 2 months to learn. But eutrophication means that you put a lot of energy into the nature. And nature is wonderful. What do the nature do when it gets the energy? It grows and it flowers. So what we can do with the Truxor is that we can utilize the nature and the water hyacinths. We can remove the eutrophication. We can remove and we can sequence the carbon dioxide with the plants. And we can remove them. And then the next step is a little bit more complicated. And there, we don't have the answer. But what you can do with algae, we have a partner company in Sweden. They make the biodiesel from algae. What can you do with the water hyacinths? We have the partner, we have the good friend Joseph in Kenya. He tries to make plastic bags from the water hyacinths. Bioplastics, yes. So with you can use the resources from the nature, and with the circularity, then you get the sustainability. But yeah, so we can look at just the part of the Truxor and see that it's maybe by itself consumes carbon dioxide and have a carbon footprint, but I believe it pays back many times around in the carbon footprint kind of thinking. And was that a good answer?
I can also add we have a customer in New Zealand. This is a story that is on our website also. It was an award-winning project, Excellency in Sustainability category. They did win. In this project, they were desilting a 600-meter long stream. And in New Zealand, as in many other places, the traditional means of cleaning such stream is by help of long-reach excavators. And this long-reach excavator is quite big, hefty machine to reach out to dredge this stream. How they did it in this project was to utilize Truxor machine instead. And the Truxor machine, as it can move, it's fully amphibious, so it will move on land, but it will also move on water and float on water. So this machine took our dredge pump and suction dredge the sludge from the silt from the stream. And when the municipality compared the traditional means using this big fuel-consuming excavator compared to our quite smart, small and nimble machine, but still very productive, they made over 90% savings in carbon emissions. So by using these more effective, nimble machines, you're able to save a lot of carbon, basically. So that was a story of another story about sustainability.
And most people know about excavator, right? I love excavators, they are good. Do you know how big is the fuel tank of an excavator? How big?
You're talking about the fuel?
Big excavator. What is how much fuel is it in the tank?
It can be like 200 liters.
Yeah. Why?
Because of the work that it does.
Yeah. And how long time?
I am not certain about that.
So but it was a very good answer, and the reason why it's 200 liters is because you need it for 1 day of work. And the big excavator uses most of its energy to move his big boom, the big arm, big counterweight, and moving the mass around. So Jans, or Kishore maybe, how big is the fuel tank of the Truxor?
30? Yeah. Yeah. So, and the consumption is around, of course, how much load you take, but I would say with our experience, the average consumption is around 5 liters per hour. So 8 hours of work. So that's what the consumption is. So you can compare it with the long boom excavator.
So again, with sustainability, we do much more work. I think actually probably, what do you say, Professor? To have a better carbon footprint than a hippo? They fart quite a lot of methane. Methane is a very bad. Sorry.
I was diving in the consumption of water hyacinth by hippos, and the hippos don't like water hyacinth.
That's the issue by itself. Maybe that's why we got the infestation. But anyhow, that was us.
Regarding the utilization of what we all can do with water hyacinth, there are many applications. Even it can be added as 25% of we can add into fish feed. 25% can be added to cattle feed. So these are the kind of indirect benefits what we can do with water hyacinth, how we use. So as we discussed this, yes, water hyacinth is we can consider it as a menace. We can also consider this, because we have to deal with it, as a resource. So I think we need to change the perception of water hyacinth as a weed or a menace to how do we make use of this in a proactive way in our daily lives. So we need to make that switch, and I think then the whole perception and approach would change, and then the productivity or how fast we get. Also, we all understand that water hyacinth at the rate of doubles, multiplies in 10 to 12 days, right? So these are the kind of broader touch points we need to keep in consider while we look at the big picture. Thank you.
Yeah, so Kishore is our doctor of water hyacinths, but please remember, it's not just water hyacinths, it's the same thing with Salvinia molesta and other kind of floating plants. You can address them in the same kind of way.
Thank you. I really want to apologize. The reason why some presentations have delayed, it's because we're expecting the chief guest, and I don't think it would make sense for us to present before the chief guest. So we have a program that we are following. We have panel, which will be after lunch. We have presentation from Ministry of Water and Environment. We shall have presentation from Truxor, and we shall also have Q&A. But the reason why I brought it before, I really wanted to have an engaging environment. You really need to appreciate that we are not only here to, we are here to learn, to socialize. So it's the reason why I have been specifically picking people that I know that have been engaged in environment, because to them, it's a passion, and we are all concerned. So we wait for guys from Ministry of Water and Environment to present. You can pay attention to them, and also draft questions that you will eventually ask later, maybe after lunch. if you have prepared to speak and you know you're on program, you can be a little bit patient with us. We still have time from now up to 6 p.m. And on a lighter note, and the most important thing, we have a social hour. We have a cocktail after this conference that will be organized by Hotel Africana, and we shall communicate, or you communicate the venue at a later stage. Minister of Water, please let me know when you're ready. And also,
we need the IT person here. Okay. Before I present, I really wanted us to share some few slides. I've been with these visitors for the last 3 days. I wanted to do sort of a recap on what we've been doing.
So I promise I'm also IT person. I have master. Just might be easier computer. Yeah. This one? IT person is coming. And I'm a computer scientist, and Jan's father is an electrician. So we can do the electrical. Yeah. Oh, we killed it. Okay. Good.
I wanted us to look at the objective. I want us to be in one class in this conference. I wanted us to look at the objectives of this conference and recap of the last 2 days, what we did in the last 2 days. We stripped the team from Sweden under the organization called Truxor Wetland Equipment. And this is being coordinated by a team from the President's Office. Truxor Wetland Equipment Organization provides sustainable mechanized solutions to water management. As Minister of Water, they wrote a letter to us requesting to work with us and also requesting to share with us the knowledge they have and also for us to share with them. So the first objective, they are here to share with us knowledge and experience about water management challenges and the proven mechanized water management solutions. They also requested us to share with them the water management challenges we are facing in Uganda. That's why we have a presentation hereafter. They also wanted to discuss with us the approaches on how this kind of water challenges can be turned into resource harvesting from these water bodies. On day one, that is Monday, they visited Ministry of Water and Environment, Central Region, in Wakiso, where we had a meeting with them together with the Wakiso District Local Government. And this meeting, we really wanted to know what they are here for, what they do, and they indeed briefed us on what they do. And thereafter, we were able to take them to the field to experience for themselves what we are going through. We went to Lubigi, where we are having a lot of floods in Kampala, and we went to Lubigi, around Lubigi police post, where they experienced a lot of solid waste in the wetland, and we realized that whenever it rains, that place floods. Even our police post is always in water. So they were there and they appreciated the problem. Then on day two, we were in, that was Wednesday, we were in Masaka for a conference like this, where we had presentations from Ministry of Water, and the organization itself, they also had presentations. In Masaka, we were also able to visit 3 places, that is Nakaiba Wetland, Nabajuzi Wetland, and in Lake Narugabo. They appreciated the water height in Nakaiba Wetland and other waterways on the lake. They were able to see the water lily on Lake Narugabo. Basically, the last 3 days, 2 days have been like that, and now here we are. I think now we are all in class. We know what they want, we know what they have for us before they even present. Thank you so much. I really don't know whether I should go ahead and present. Is it okay? Since in one of the objectives we realized that they wanted us to share with them the water management challenges that we are facing in Uganda, so I had to make a presentation on wetland management issues in Uganda. So by way of introduction, over the last 23 years, wetland coverage has reduced from 15.6% in the year 1994 to 10.9% in 2008, and now to 8.4%. That was by 2016 to date. Overall, every region in Uganda has degraded wetlands with varying extents. But we realize that the most degrading region is Eastern region, followed by our very own Central region, followed by Northern Uganda, and lastly Western Uganda. In Central Uganda, we realize that Nakasek has the biggest wetland coverage that is intact, whereas Luel has the biggest coverage of degraded wetlands. Then we go straight to the drivers of wetland degradation. In Uganda, they cut across all districts in Uganda. You find that the drivers of wetlands degradation here in Kampala are the same, in Mbale are the same, in Arua. What is the driver here is any factor that causes a change in the aspect of an ecosystem. These wetland drivers are categorized as physical structure drivers. We have extraction drivers. We have introduction drivers, institution, and demographic drivers. Under physical drivers, we have things like construction of electricity and very dams. And in most cases, we realize that the riverine wetlands, those wetlands along rivers, are most prone in this category. For instance, the ongoing construction of Karuma Dam, and this indeed leads to siltation, sedimentation, and loss of aquatic life. Then another one is soil erosion. This one is mostly done on upland, where the soil runs up to the wetlands because of these cultivation practices uplands, and ends up silting, and also silting the wetland, and also destroying the aquatic life there. Still under this category of drivers, we have wetland burning. This is mostly done by grazers in a bid to get fresh pasture for their animals, but they end up destroying a lot of fauna and even the vegetation itself. Then we have infrastructure developments under physical drivers. We realize that in most cases wetlands are affected when these developments are being undertaken. We are giving an example of the Entebbe Express Highway, the Northern Bypass. We have the sewage plant in Rubiji. Those ones have really affected a good portion of wetland, and they costed lives of that ecosystem. even where we have mega irrigation schemes, you know. Then another category of wetland degradation drivers is where we have extraction drivers. Here we look at things like sand and clay mining. These activities in wetlands are responsible for improper functioning of wetlands, and they affect the quality and biodiversity of the wetland ecosystem. Then we have wetlands. For example, when the road constructions are ongoing, they extract a lot of water. Even in these other factories, they use a lot of water, so they affect the wetland. And these are big irrigation schemes. Then we also have wood, papyrus, and grass harvesting. This one also, if it is overdone, it affects the biodiversity of the wetland. And here in Uganda, it is very common because they harvest for craft material. For instance, papyrus being hunted for craft material, timber. We have upcountry people are looking for such grasses for their houses. And they overdo it. Then we have another category, which is introduction of species and pollutants in wetlands. We've already talked of this waste disposal in wetlands. We've seen the impact. Even our visitors were able to see this for themselves. Then in most cases, our factories, they release untreated sewage in these wetlands, hence affecting the ecology of the wetland. Then nowadays we have so many washing basins in these wetlands. And this is now becoming a serious problem where they are silting wetlands and also disposing oil and soap in these wetlands. And this is really affecting our fauna in the wetlands. Then we have the invasion of native weeds. We've already talked about the water hyacinth. When it invades a wetland, it really affects that ecosystem because of the, we call it eutrophication, where the water body will now lack oxygen and the aquatic life will be seriously affected. Then there's this solid waste dumping in wetlands. There's this survey that has been ongoing on social media where somebody was seen really dumping a lot of solid waste. Yeah, I think it is a serious problem here, and it is affecting our, you know, wetlands are the breeding grounds for fish. In the local language, we call them maternity wards for fish. So when we do this, we are really affecting the breeding grounds for fish, and we end up getting just sludge built up, and we only have maggots in these areas instead of fish. Then there's introduction of excessive nutrients from agriculture. This is done by cultivators. They have a tendency of using chemicals. Those ones doing it in the wetlands and also the ones doing it on the land adjacent to these wetlands. They use these chemicals in the form of fertilizer, herbicides, pesticides, and this ends up in the wetlands, affecting our biodiversity. Then we have also the institutional drivers. Here we are saying conflicting land tenure systems expose our wetlands further, destructions. Wetlands are perceived by Ugandans as common property, and so they think they have rights to exploit them the way they want. Also, another issue is that our wetlands, not all our wetlands are demarcated, so it is very hard for some people to distinguish between our wetland and an upland. Then we have a serious issue of political interventions. By the way, the higher politicians at high level, here I'm talking about the president himself. He is very, very, very concerned with wetland conservation. And we've had directives to conserve our wetlands from him. He has really made a lot of effort in wetland conservation. But when it comes to politicians at lower level, we are having serious issues with them. For them, they think when we conserve our wetlands, which are being used by their voters, they are really losing their votes. So implementation of these policies and enforcement laws becomes hard. It is really a big challenge for us, although we are trying. Also, issue of limited awareness and poor knowledge base about wetlands. It is an issue, but I really don't want to believe, because for us, as Minister of Water and Environment, we have created awareness. We have really tried to create awareness about wetland conservation, the importance of wetlands. We've been everywhere. We've been on social media, we've been in media houses, TV, radios. We've been at local government. We've sensitized people. Whatever we're going to do, we sensitize people from district level, sub-county level, up to village level. So in most cases, we think they just pretend, but they know what a wetland is. Then you have the issue of demographic pressure. Here we are seeing that the population of Uganda increased from 4.8 million in 1994 to approximately 45 million in 2024. That is the last census. With this rate of population growth, the encroachment on this wetland has really become serious. People are encroaching for settlements. You can see Luigi, Nachibuho. We have slums there. People are encroaching on these wetlands for farming. Mostly this one is more realized in eastern Uganda, where we are having large-scale farms of rice farming. Then they are encroaching on these wetlands. Most of these factories are in wetlands in Kampala here. And as we say, they are really not doing us good. They are disposing untreated wastewater in these wetlands. So those are some of the drivers to wetlands degradation. And what is the implication about this? Number one, it is the decline in water availability in terms of quantity and quality. Another implication is increased food and energy insecurity. Then we always see prolonged drought and unpredictable rainfall. Now, wetlands are very good at maintaining microclimates, local climates. They are very good at that. So whenever we encroach on them, that's when we experience these prolonged droughts and El Niños. Nowadays, when it rains, these are extreme weathers now. When it rains, it really rains and kills. When it is a dry season, it can be a prolonged dry season, and animals will die in those areas, which, like Western Uganda. So all this is coming because of wetland degradation and other environment aspects. Then we've had intensified flooding instances, claiming lives of Ugandans. The last one is this one of recent, which occurred last month, but one on the 26th of March, and it claimed 7 lives of Ugandans. But so many have been dying. I brought in this one just because it has just occurred. And people died here in Kampala, not very far from here. Then we've lost tourism potential because of the decreased biodiversity of the wetlands. Then there is increased release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, contributing directly to the global warming phenomenon, which is caused by climate change. And lastly, I want to show you this map. Those are projections that if we really don't act now, by the year 2040, Uganda will not be having wetlands. We will be remaining with only 374 hectares. So that's why, as government, we are saying no to wetlands degradation. And that's why you've been seeing us carrying out evictions in Rubiji of recent. We put down houses, permanent structures, those big structures, just because we are afraid of this trend. And with this, I want to thank you all for your attention. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Madam.
First, I'd like to comment. It was a wonderful overview. And the problem with wetlands around the world, I'm from the Netherlands, and we don't call it wetland but waterland. It is land or it is water. A wetland is not just wetland, because it has much more value. But how to describe what has value? With a painting, it's easy. You put it in a museum, and then people have to pay entrance or for free, but at least you know what has value. And what I concluded from your story, that it is not clear in Uganda what the real value of the wetlands is. And also when you walk around, there's no signs. Not the sign, this is value, valuable wetland, waterland, keep out, keep it. The only luck we have, that especially with climate change, we have a lot of rains. And then it's clear the road what the wetland is. There's an extra catchment. But you're so rich still with waterlands. But how to preserve it, and how to say this is a wetland, keep off, and restore it.
We've really initiated that activity of coming up with posts showing that this is a wetland. If you are caught in carrying out destructive activities, you'll be taken to courts of law. And we normally put in English and local language. So we've initiated that, but still we have that in Kampala. We've not gone very far from that.
Are there any other questions or remarks?
Thank you. We still have questions, and those who have questions will ask, but allow Madam to first answer a question that had earlier, Madam Christine, sorry, to answer questions that I had earlier asked.
Thank you so much. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, but I would like to just add on what my colleague has been presenting. Among the questions that were asked, she answered a number of them, but one of them about the policies in place that Uganda's effort in conservation of wetlands in terms of laws, policies, and regulations is what I'm going to present. Uganda as a country has taken a number of steps in trying to conserve the natural resources, including wetlands, and these are some of the steps that the country has taken in trying to conserve wetlands. We have the National Wetlands Policy, 1995, which tries to bring out the foundation of wetland management. And we also have the National Environment Act 2019, which prohibits government from leasing out wetlands and ensuring that they remain a public trust. We have the National Environment, Wetlands, Riverbanks, Lake Shores Management Regulation 2003. We also have the wetlands, Uganda also, through the Wetlands Management Department, designated all wetlands, and they are officially protected. And these are about 8,613. We have all these policies and regulations encourage community participation or involvement. We have a monitoring and enforcement division in place. As a country, we have also entered into international commitments. As you all know, that Uganda has ratified the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. I think for now, allow me to stop at this. And if time allows, I will try to explain more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Christine. Those who have questions, you can reserve them. We still have time, and we shall have a panel discussion. And I think it's at that point where we shall exhaust everything. For the interest of time, allow me invite Truxor to present to us. Then after, we shall have, I think, by that time, Africana will be ready, and we go for lunch. So, meanwhile, we are streaming live on Facts TV. Those who come from West, you know that TV. We are on YouTube. If you have colleagues that you wish to be catch you live, please tell them to stand on Facts TV on TikTok, YouTube, and also Instagram.
So, I will tell you a little about us and our products, and then after lunch we will also hear from our Professor Rood and also the Indian testimonies from Kishore. So I would like to present these solutions for mechanized water and wetland maintenance for handling future challenges, water challenges. Our company was established 35 years ago in Sweden, and 30 years ago we invented the Truxor machine, this amphibious tractor. And so far we have reached 74 markets around the world with this long time that we have been working with these kind of machines, and with our wide footprint we have gained a lot of knowledge, of course, from this experience. The machine, this amphibious tractor, is fully amphibious, so it can work on land, but also on water. And it's a very multi-purpose machine that can do a lot of different, handle different challenges. But it's also nimble, lightweight solution that actually can be this mechanized hippo, but preserving the wetlands instead of destroying them, basically. And I talked about this story before. This is from Auckland. So this is one of these typical applications for the machine. So here we have this stream restoration handling this kind of nutrient runoffs into the waterways. So you can see here on the presentation, the picture, we have a Truxor machine that is suction dredging the sludge from this high potential stream. And in this case, the machine is operating in the stream and pumping the sludge into this dewatering bag solution. In this case also, they consumed more than 90% less fuel for doing this compared to the traditional means. But they can also reuse the sludge for landscaping, which saved them a lot of money and carbon for that sake also. The machines is also used in urban environments, and this is one of these applications where the city of Vienna utilize the machines for their urban surface water maintenance. Vienna has chosen a nature-based solution where they use the water plants to capture and capture the nutrients and filter the water. And the biomass they pick up, they actually turn into organic soil improvement. So they have a circular economy approach. So this is how it can look in Vienna on the high season, with a number of floating hippos working with the water body. So basically what they are doing is that they are cutting, extracting the biomass, they are shifting the material to and sending it to the local compost mill. Flooding is a huge problem in many places in the world, and especially in our urbanized world, where we have all these nutrients coming into the waterways. That, of course, creates floodings with sedimentation buildup, pollution, and other problems. So this kind of floodings also brings this material and create new problems, basically. And when a flooding occurs, of course, it's not just water. It will be all this floating material, soil, silt, sand, and mud that is brought with the water. And this is testimonies from Vienna, where they had a millennium flood in September last year. So then they utilized their fleet of machines to prevent the next flood, basically. So doing flood response, basically. This is also Turkey that's using Truxors for flood response. When they have issues with floodings, they can send out this very mobile and transportable system. But it's also basically endless possibilities and for the application of this very versatile system. So here we have from picture I received from Kishore some time ago from India, dealing with floating invasives, in this case water hyacinths. This is also another photo from India, photos about pollution in stormwater systems. So here we see the machine operating in this kind of stormwater infrastructure. Siltation as well, and this nutrient runoffs. This is Bangkok, where they suction dredging the wide channel systems in Bangkok metropolitan with the help of Truxor machines. But also they are used in irrigation and drainage channels, clearing blockages and service this kind of infrastructure. Wastewater applications, hydropower, mining wastewater, but also, of course, wetland management. Yes, thank you. Any questions about the program? Yes?
Thank you for your presentation. My question may be a bit funny, but it is a question. As a country, we are at a certain level of economic development. When I look at the machinery, I presume these are expensive equipment. Are we getting donations from you? Okay, if at all we are going to pay for the machinery, would you mind sharing the costs, if you don't mind? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Christine.
So, unfortunately, I love hippos as well. And one thing we have not managed to make the Truxor do, we cannot make them have sex with each other and duplicate. We have to make the Truxor. They don't have sex with each other. So we need to create the Truxor. And for creating the Truxor, it costs money. And we are a company. So unfortunately, yeah, we are a equipment manufacturer. Fortunately, we are an equipment manufacturer. So what we are looking at now is why, what, and what you are asking is how. And that is what we need to look at together. How to be able to afford it and how to put it in place. But what I would like to say, again, that was, maybe I did not make myself clear with the excavator question from earlier. If you compare to an excavator, the excavator uses 200 liters of diesel per day. How much does that cost? So if you would compare to using an excavator, you would actually save money if you use the Truxor for doing that job on the point of total ownership. But still, I understand the question. I really do. But no, we are not a charitable organization, but we need to figure out how together. Mike, would you like to? Yeah. Should we take? Yeah.
Thank you. With my presentation, I think that particular point, because I'm from India, we also have the same issues of limited resource, and how do we manage our resources, So I'll try to keep my presentation more video-like, so you experience. I think you can put it to what's happening here and how we use Truxor. So I'll keep my presentation to maybe 10 minutes to share some videos, then we can have a discussion. You can ask me how we worked on it and what are the possibilities. I'll share my understanding. I think we'll keep it as a discussion, quicker. So I think it'll be more relatable to you. Yeah. So I would like to. All right. Okay. Yeah, I would like to call Truxor as a multi-purpose, amphibian, trash, deweeding, desilting machine. So that sums up what this machine can do. A quick introduction about Matrop. The company started in 2008. As I said, mentioned, it's a marine engineering company, started off for the mariners at the helm. So we started building ships in shipyards, and then by accident, for a reason, we happened to stumble upon Truxor, and then there we became the dealers of Truxor in India, and that introduced us to the space which India had not really dealt with, what we call the water resource restoration. So there are equipments to do dredging of ports, all that, but nothing was done really inland in the fresh water or the backwaters of the country. So we saw this opportunity. So today, our primary focus is on what we call water resource restoration programs, which we run extensively across India. So these machines we categorize as mechanical remediation equipment for water resource restoration. It simply means we are not in the space of STPs, sewage treatment plants. Right? That's how we distinguish ourselves from water treatment plants, right? So we also have, so we look at it from a very comprehensive manner. Okay, we need to clean up our water bodies, then we need to make it navigable. How do we make it navigable? How do we put the boats there, recreation, material movement? So it's very important that we first have this big picture, where we want to be, what is that, the relevance of water bodies in the country, and then how do we get to the minor details of it, how we put it all together. Then we have the water stress management, the flooding, all that comes in when, as Madam was mentioning, when there is rain, the city floods. When the rain is gone, there is drought. Every city in this so populated, unfortunately, in the not the Western world, we face these kind of things on an everyday manner. So we need to bring in nature-based solutions. We need to bring in urban green infrastructure, not to depend really on the grey infrastructure which we have been depending on, as we call the development or progress. How do we use the bio-waste? Because we don't have too much of resources with us. We need to monetize on what we have, right? We cannot keep on spending. Our local governments doesn't have infinite funds to fund these kind of projects, right? So how do we make the best of what we have, what we get? And then how do we make it renewable energies into the water transportation, or how do we run these machines on renewable energy? So this is what we have been working on, and what I call water waste energy. This is harmonizing waste. In nature, there is no waste, right? We created waste. So we can call it waste, minerals, resource, whatever we want it, energy and water. How do we bring it all together? So I believe the challenges which we have in India is exactly the same as what we have in Uganda as well. So if you see the video, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to relate or port it to Uganda as well. Oh. Videos are not being played. I'd like to take a pause there. That's how the machine is transported. It's I don't know, we have mentioned about this machine is just 1,400 kilos, right? It's all made of all aluminum. So why is it important that these machines are lighter, and how is it relevant in an urban landscape? We are able to move these machines from one location to the other, even in the busiest traffic times, like 10 a.m. or 5 p.m. We are able to move these machines from one location to the other, right? So, and that we just, because it's amphibian, we just drive it onto this trailer and then put it onto the municipality, whatever the tractor or whatever it is. It pulls these machines to the next location, and then we are up half an hour. So here we use the assistance of excavators. We basically makes it more efficient, directly put onto the trucks, whether we can be processed further. So if you look at these machines, look at very small machines. The width of the machines will be 2 meters. But we will do those, like in a good water hyacinth becomes entangled and it larger land mass. We cut it like a cake, and then we do something like 50 meter by 10 meter, 20 meter kind of water hyacinths close to the shore. So it becomes very, very effective than the raking. So we deal with a lot of kind of weed harvests. What we found, Arjun landscape, what has been a very, very effective tool. So this is exactly this picture which you saw, which Jonsef said. This is another. I'm just giving you samples of what we have been doing in different parts of the country. So there's the urban trash we generated, and these machines could go in places in Mumbai where there's no machines could go in the last 50 years. So these are very high-end, very expensive real estates, but this is their backyard. Small canals within the city, machine goes in by itself. This is the dirtiest water you can think of. I'm pretty sure it's relatable to you. The sewage, everything goes into these water bodies, which were really clean water bodies maybe 30, 40 years back. This creates floods, that's a slum in the background. So this is what it was before, and this is what's after. So yeah, if you can recap up what I think this video can be forwarded. Smaller ponds where we again I mentioned that we use the cut. So tool on top of it. It's a multiple tool can be used for multiple. I think there are 40 machine. So it's like a comprehensive machine which can be used for all kind of wetlands or water resource program. That's the dosing which I was talking about. So this small machine is being assisted by 3 large excavators at shore. You're talking about 8 hours a day. That's Tobion, who's the inventor of this machine when he came to India. Look at the kind of, it can go up, they don't recommend it, but 35 degrees of climb it can do. Once it touches 40, it gives an alarm and it stops. Then only Tobion can make it operational. Yeah, that's Mumbai you saw. So, just want to give the kind of, where we have been working and what kind of, so basically, if you look at, this is the restoration of the lake, the whole 16.5 kilometer water body restoration which we did, again 11.5 kilometer, paddy harvesting, which was something which, so I'm trying to explain what's the variety of things which we can do. So it's a typical kind of a paddy cultivation where we have hip deep water where we need to harvest this paddy. That's exactly how we contacted Truxor. And we have done trials of it, but it became an expensive proposition for them to procure it because the whole harvesting. So now, 45 days of harvesting, management of the paddy fields, all that together makes it more comprehensive. And then land preparation, as I mentioned, de-weeding, desilting, trash collection. So we also need, I would like to mention, how do we engage these machines? As I was mentioning, we have very, very limited resources. With our experience, sometimes the government agencies buy these machines, we operate these machines as part of this package for 5 years, 3 years. Why? Because the government agencies buy these machines after some time, 1 year or 6 months, a bearing goes off. The machine becomes idle. So it becomes the responsibility as a supplier or a contractor to ensure that these machines operate for 5 years, where we are penalized for not operating for 1 week or whatever. If within a reasonable time, we don't make the machine operational, we are penalized for that. So the machines, today we have supplied machines in 2021, in Corona time, these machines have run 11,000 hours, 12,000 hours. So they ensure that machines, we have GPS trackers on these machines, ensuring that these machines are moving on an everyday basis. 8 hours, we cannot manipulate any of these things. So there are a lot of experience which we can share, how we can effectively use these machines and how do we bring it all together. So again, this is another where Chilika Lake, it's a large water body. I think it's 1,100 square kilometers of, I think it's Asia's largest blackish water, and restoration of that we have done. Here I would like to mention, because Madam was mentioning about the Ramsar site and the policies which the state have come up with. A good idea would be to have a wetland authority. We have seen it in Chilika. It's an example which the country had. Nobody had wetland authorities, but Chilika came up with the Chilika Development Authority. What difference it makes is, okay, when you look at the lake and there are multiple stakeholders, you can imagine 11,100 square kilometers, and there are many, many agencies, stakeholders around it, and lake becomes the least priority. But when the minute you have a lake development authority, lake becomes the primary, focus, and they engage with the stakeholders outside the whole thing. So it becomes more effective. You have better plans. We can have better plans with it. So yeah, in Chennai we have those 210 lake bodies we have to maintain for the next 8 years. Smaller projects like 25 acres which we have to clean up. So yeah, the Ganga, Indian government is spending billions in this particular project to clean up Ganga. It's one of the major projects which the government undertaken. So what I'm trying to share is again the Mumbai, which is one of the worst and one of the most expensive real estates, and these water bodies are running there. Government is spending many millions there for that. So I'll just wrap it up with one video which I'm pretty sure it is relatable to you. Again, this is a river. That's a pontoon bait excavator which we support. Wheat shredders, wheat harvesters. $20 or 30 trees which we had to pull it out. Sill pushers. So this is how on the right side left side is what it was, and exactly the same image drone shot after that. Of course, we didn't end up there. We had to clean up the sludge or the grey matter beneath, or the organic matter which had to be taken out. That's the airport. This is, I think, 4 months' job. And our assignment was to run a speedboat from one end of the rim or along the stretch of the water body at the full wake So nothing is impossible. We can do it, provided how we plan it. No, coming back to what do we do with water hyacinth? How do we make it utilizable? How you make it productive? We can use anaerobic digesters where we can produce CNG, CBG, whatever. We can use the CNG or CBG in these machines. Some of the machines can run on these, so it become more productive where we are not going to use the fossil fuel, but use the same fuel which you are extracting out of it. The sludge, organic matter can go into these anaerobic digesters. As I mentioned, water hyacinth can be used as fertilizer, or it can for fish feed, as cattle feed. So summing it up, we need to have a very, the big picture, bringing it all into smaller bits, working with the stakeholders, working with the government agencies, policies. I think that's the key. How we manage, we know how we struggled in the initial days, and once it became like a proof of concept, how it was easily accepted in different parts of the country. It was easy for us. So we are at this stage of where we don't need to convince, because they have seen the proof is in the pudding, and today we have that. All right. So I just want to, this is the anaerobic digester which I was talking about. And yeah, these are one of the images which we have, the airport strip, where we are using Truxor because of the ground pressure which it creates is so less that it can move on any surface without any hindrance. Thank you.
For me, it was a wonderful story to see it. The reason I grabbed the microphone is also to follow up on the remark of David, is you have to separate several phases. What you saw clean jobs, where you can produce good material that you can use, or the restoration uses, like the one with the plastic and the water hyacinth. That's terrible. So again, keep your waste clean. The moment you waste with waste, you waste. There's a lot of wasting. And the miracle is that you see that the removal of the plastics, that even those areas where you completely lose your hope, how can it get it back into something attractive? It works. It's just impressive. And you forgot one thing, the balancing of the Truxor, that the seat of the Truxor can move so that it can balance the machine. So when you have a big load in front, you get to the front, and when you climb a big hill with snow, you also just balance the machine without the big bangs normally.
I showed the video of the cleaning of the 16.5 kilometer water body, right? In 2018, the whole Kerala was flooded, except the city of Trivandrum, simply because we managed, I think in 2018 is the time we started our intervention. So basically, there was water hyacinth, beneath this was thermocol, and the water column was only 0.25 centimeters. Beneath this was like the sludge. So we kind of cleaned up the whole thing. So the flood water was what we can call the stormwater drains were able to take the rain, the heavy rain, and the city was saved. So these are the kind of similar situations which you have in the flooding. The minute we kind of start our intervention, it becomes much more easier. Yeah. Any questions you can ask me? I can.
I wanted to follow up because the financial work. I'm from the Netherlands, and we have lowlands, a lot of floodings, and we have water authorities who arrange the whole organization. But there's a kind of prayer where they say, please God help us with everything in life, and thank you for everything. And also give us a flooding sometimes. Because the flooding is expensive, but it also makes clear that you have to spend money in preventing the flooding. And when you have floodings, try to calculate the cost of the flooding. Because that cost of the flooding can move money. That's just advice. The question thing.
Yeah, I think he made a very good point there. The kind of, when it floods, there is a lot of resources or money, or a lot of people lose their life. If you look at the money we need to invest in to prevent it, it's much lower. Maybe 5%, 10%. Yeah. Excuse me. There you go. Question.
Yeah, thanks so much. I want to appreciate all the presentations.
Before, excuse me,
I have a question, yeah.
Allow me to introduce the VIPs that have just joined us. We have Senior Superintendent of Police, Victoria Chirunda, from the Legal Council, Environmental Protection Police Unit. You can stand up for recognition. We also have Commissioner, Uganda Human Rights Commission, Afande Simeon Subuga. I don't know if he still prefer to be called Afande. Thank you, sir. You can move on.
All right, thanks so much. I want to appreciate all the presenters, facilitators. I have a question about that water hycin. Have the scientists failed to discover a solution to this, like a chemical that can kill the weed, or the research is going on? Or they have discovered the weed is more advantageous than disadvantageous, that they can grow it and have other uses of it, because it has been there for some time, and it's like we are trying to fight off the water, but also I realize that there are some uses of this weed. So what are they trying to do? Are they trying to keep it around? Or they are trying to find out how to control it or to kill it off the water? What's the scientists trying to do there? Because the technology to do away with it is expensive, as we are sharing here. But again, there are uses of this weed. So which is which? Are we trying to maintain it, or to keep it, or to do away with it? Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add a bit to that. So if you look at it from a lake perspective, like, we have certain amount of water hyacinth being there is okay. Because it takes out, it's a great bioremediation, it takes out heavy metals, all that. But the minute, as I said, 10 to 12 days, one acre, or whatever you want, 1 square meter becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and it goes at exponential proportion, right? So the minute it covers the entire water body, it kind of takes away the entire aquatic life, the COD, BOD levels, and the eutrophication, and the decay of the whole thing into the sediments, or it's a mess, right? So we need to have a plan. What is that we want to take out, and how do we take it out, at what expense, and what is the monetization plan? So water hyacinth is 5 to 8% of biomass, and rest is all water. So transportation of water hyacinth from where it is harvested to 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers for any repurpose doesn't make sense, because you're basically transporting water. So we believe that what needs to be done, it needs to be done in situ, then and there. So we need to convert the biomass into something which is productive, whether it is for manure, whether it is as a feed, whether it is a CBG, CNG, whatever we are talking about, it needs to be done in situ. So there is no holy grail solution as of now, because it's a problem which is predominantly in the non-Western world. So we need to come up with our own solutions. This is what I think. Anything to be added?
Thank you. We shall pick more 3 questions and we go for lunch. The rest of questions can be kept. We shall have another section after lunch.
Thank you very much for that PowerPoint presentation. Once again, I'm Timothy Crute from Kenya Motors. We deal in selling Scania, Hyundai, and FAO trucks. The equipment is in the automotive industry, and we are quite familiar with that sector. I'm impressed with the fuel consumption. I would like to know the performance in terms of horsepower. What would be the maximum horsepower? Secondly, if you can note down, I have several questions, but these questions are related to sales. Hopefully, if we can get the dealership. Terrain adaptability. Mr. Kishori explained that the equipment can move on both soft waterlogged areas. That was clear. I would like to know the durability, because in my sector, if I'm selling your equipment, for example, someone is going to ask what is the lifespan of the equipment before they even think of purchasing. What would be the environmental impact? Does it meet the emission standards? Is it Euro 2, Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5, Euro 6? Here in Uganda, we use Euro 2, Euro 3 because of the fuel adaptability. Once you bring in the Euro 5, Euro 6, Euro 8, you're going to have issues with our fuel. I want to talk also about the after sales. What are the warrant terms, maintenance? Talking about maintenance, if given the dealership, I believe our head of workshop is here. He can maintain those units. Then, lastly, what's the long-term vision of Truxor for the Ugandan dealer? What's the long-term vision? Thank you.
I think David can mention about the Truxor part of it. I can share my experience as a dealer in India, how effective or how it has been for us. Yeah, I'll add to that.
So maybe you can answer the durability question first. I think you're
durable part, yes. What we have is an operator and a, what do you call, helper or a semi-skilled or person. So the operator operates this machine for 8 hours, and the helper's responsibility to ensure that the machine is cleaned, because the water we have is very acidic, very dirty, the worst of the worst water we can think of. So every day cleaning up is critical. Every day greasing is critical. So every day after work, it gets cleaned up. On a Sunday or alternate or multiple, in a month's time, we have a overall checking. So if you really take care of the machine well, it can run forever. I mean, 10 to 15 or 20 years is not a problem. So as I said, 2021 till now, we have machines which are run for like 12,000 hours. So you can, when you do a math back, you are talking about 200 hours a month. Is not a bad deal. As a dealer, you understand how effective. Though the machine looks very flimsy and very very compared to the excavators, but they do their job pretty well. So from the soft part of it, it's 0.04 kilogram force per meter. That's the reason why it's able to maneuver, whether it is the sludgy, soft surface, because it's well distributed on the tracks. So it can come out of any nasty working environment. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, so I am amazed with the good work that Kishore has done in India with Truxor. I used to work for an excavator manufacturer, and there was 2 markets in the world that killed the excavators. It was India and Turkey. But Kishore is managing to make the Truxor survive for a long, long time in India. It's actually, I think, the best well-kept machine in the world. So if you want to learn anything about Truxor maintenance, please speak with Kishore. The question about the horsepower, yeah, it's I actually skipped to the last question. Actually, it was about the Euro classes, right? So, we have the Euro 2 and Euro 4 and Euro 5 machines. We have the petrol engines and we have the diesel engines. And as you mentioned, would be the good match for Uganda would be our Kubota diesels. Kubota is a well-proven engine with that runs very well in this kind of environment that you have in Uganda. So it would be the T40, that it's a 40 horsepower machine. And 40 horsepower maybe doesn't sound so much, but it's like a 5-ton excavator. Maybe it's big excavators again. So it's actually a very powerful machine.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe you help me on this one as well before you go. We have seen the machines, yes, and where they are working from, the environment looks like within the cities. And here we have actually a lot of water hyacinth in Lake Victoria, which is quite big.
Yeah.
And I remember along the Nile, which is actually quite wide and a long distance. And the machines look quite smaller. I don't know whether you have bigger machines to handle a bigger working environment. Thank you.
Sorry, maybe as you answer that, I will ask one question more. Since the machine is amphibious, is there any use of water? What are the methods of propulsion? Air, pneumatics, etc.?
Yeah, there is a propeller, which is an extra attachment which we can have, which makes the machine. So the propeller is generally used for moving from one work site to another one, rather than going by the road or whatever. So it's more of a functionality, and it can be also, the questions are asked. So the machine is only 2 meters wide, but if the water hyacinth, which we generally have here, is in floating condition. So there are 3 conditions in which we have in the wetlands, right? One is the slushy condition where water is very less. We are talking about less than 30 centimeters. So the machine has to plow through the the sludge, and there is water hyacinth out there. The second condition would be sufficient water is there. The water hyacinth has started rooting. So the roots are there in the sludge. So the minute we rake it, we are actually taking it out with the sludge. That's the second condition. The third condition would be sufficient water is there. The water column is maybe 1 meter or whatever. The water hyacinth is in floating condition. In that condition, which I'm sure what Lake Victoria would be, the 2 meter, I don't know, I had this video, it's a very short clipping. The 2 meter, the rake, which can actually dose something like 25 to 30 meters in length and wide. So the operator has to be smart enough. So it will be large chunk of, the machine goes in, it cuts what it can dose as like a cake, goes to the other side, kind of dose it to the shore. Yes, wind is a challenge there. The wind can disintegrate the whole thing. And it might take 20 minutes to dose it to the shore, but we have seen situation where the small machine brings in. There are 3 long boom excavators which is on shore, dealing with the same thing which this machine has brought in 20 minutes. So don't underestimate the capacity of the machine by just the looks of it, because we have seen the larger machines. These guys can do phenomenal work. Yeah, I can vouch on that.
Was it a good answer?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. So I've seen your machines. But I have a feeling mostly they are of high technology. I don't want to think of that, but of course now it needs someone trained to operate them. So as you, now, there are two steps to take under that. Either you take Ugandans to that country, they learn from there, and bring them back and they train others, or you bring one machine and train them from here.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you have to employ Ugandans. Thank you.
No, so it's and that ties back to the other question that asked us about the vision for Uganda and the importance of distributors. So my answer to that question is that we will do both. So the resellers should come to Dorothea, Sweden, and learn the machines. And then they can teach the rest of the people in Uganda how to operate them. Maybe you want to answer about the maintenance, right?
So it's not a very complicated machine. You know, if anyone who operates this excavators, it's basically joystick. It purely works on hydraulics, right? So when we look at the 40 HP, it's not the HP that counts. Basically, it powers the hydraulics. So anybody who, I'm pretty sure that there are local people who are capable of dealing with hydraulics, can do this maintenance of this machine. Operation these machines is very, very simple. It's anybody who operates an excavator, it's just few days, maybe 2 days, getting accustomed to the functionalities, that's it. And there, as I said, there are 30, 40 tools which go into the machine. Matching and brilliantly done something, which is like, see, in Sweden, human resources are very expensive. So they designed it such a way that one person can operate this machine all by himself. Like, you know, you don't need 10 people to. So it's easily, operational that way. Yeah.
Thank you, sure.
Thank you so much. Amor is bothered when the round of questions has no females asking. So I take the courtesy. I'm Tracy at Konda once again, working with Musichana Uganda as the Partnerships and Donations Manager. So we talked about the water ice is used for animal feeds, for cattle and whatever, but I saw bottles and polythene bags. I don't know, at the end of the day, how do you work upon those bottles, and is there like a recycle system? Like, you didn't talk about the end results for those bottles and polythene bags in the video, right? So, and my other question is, except these machineries, because they may not be cost-friendly for a country like Uganda, as she said in her presentation. So I was asking, are there any other means or any other ways except the machines that we can use in this wetland sustainability? Because there are going to be dumpings and disposals in these wetlands. And for systems that might not be cost-friendly, because now, if they're saying you're bringing like one machine to train people there, Uganda is like a very big country, and we need to get means that can reach out to those rural areas and what. So I wanted to understand, are there other means we've thought outside the box that can help, that are cost-friendly?
So I will just answer a little bit shortly about that. What is cost-friendly and what is sustainability? And sustainable, as I mentioned before, it means how much work can you get done and keep up the work. So we said that how many hippos on one Truxor? Yeah. So and if you want to do it with people, how many people would you need?
Depends upon what methodology.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how is it done manually right now, or is it just used from boom excavators? Manual, I don't know how much can be extracted manually today. There are mechanisms where people would get into the water, this dirty water. It's definitely unhealthy. They would go and put a rope outside and then kind of pull it. These are the kind of methodologies which are used today to, some parts of the world, or long boom excavators, where definitely it cannot reach the water body. So today we are not doing anything about it, then it's cost effective, there is no cost to it. But the minute we talk about intervention, there is a cost associated with, but as I'm stressing, see, Uganda, India is not much of different. We are resource starved. So we need to maximize, how do we are going to, I'm giving a hypothetical condition. Today there are vegan leather, which is made out of this. This vegan leather goes into Rolls-Royce of this world. Can we make leather out of water hyacinth? Then it becomes cost effective. So give local people some job. But if you're going to take out 25 tons, can it be utilized? So we need to work on this, what's locally possible. So how do we work with different stakeholders to make it all work? Either this or that is not the solution. We need to come up with our own solutions, right? So we have the possibility of water hyacinth-based vegan leather, which we can sell it at premium, where your entire extraction process becomes cost positive, or we can add to our cattle, which is going to be utilized locally, or feed our fish, which is going to be good for your aquaculture, use it as a manure, or using it for bettering your soil, giving you better agriculture. What are the kind of indirect benefits which are going to come out of it? So there are a lot of direct and indirect benefits which we need to look at. And somebody has to really look into the details of it, yeah.
I would like to add positiveness in thinking. When I see the agriculture here in Uganda, I've not seen so much, but there are machines. I see expensive cars. But mainly we need to look in future, but also to look back. And the looking back is the value of wetlands in production of material. When you look at the real natural wetlands, something different. But you can even think about using buffer wetlands around the pristine wetlands to catch in nutrients. And then produce with those nutrients all kinds of material you can reuse or use. An example is, perhaps I can show a table later. In 80, 90 years ago, Eastern Europe, especially Eastern Europe, was poor. And they were looking for all kinds of sources. And wetlands used to be an important thing. Just as in parallel, is we have a lot of houses with reed. That reed comes nowadays from China, because our reed is not good enough. And I think that you can produce much better reed here, or another. And when you split up a product like reed and go back in the time that industry was looking for all kinds of sources, they made a lot out of it. Fibers, yeast, it's a big table. And back to what you said about plastic, that is what I meant with keep it clean. The moment you have your production from a wetland, whether it's water hyacinth or something else, when it's clean it has a value. But when it's dirty it's a waste, so then you wasted your natural resource. It is a beginning of a new way of thinking on reuse, on use, on looking at natural resources from wetlands. And it could be a huge step in the next development of Uganda. You have water, you have space, and wonderful people.
Thank you. And at this point, on behalf of everyone here, I would want to extend our sincere thanks for a very inciting and engaging presentation. But at this point, let's go for lunch. And I would request which Afande Sveung Suga to lead our guests and Dr. Jim Tuhaurwa. Then the rest of us can follow. We shall have lunch from alongside the pool side. So Jim, you can lead the team and Afande Sveung Suga. The rest of us can follow. Followed by guys from Ministry of Water and the NEMA. Those who have questions, we still have time. We shall ask after lunch, because after lunch we have a panel discussion and even questions. Then after that, we shall have few speeches. Then we go for a cocktail. Those with food coupons, please make sure everyone gets our ladies.
Okay, people. Okay, people who are viewing us, keep following. We are coming back. Ninga to Garaka, but people who are viewing us on Fatres TV, you know that everything is on YouTube, still on TikTok, on Instagram. Just for you, search Fatres TV. Yeah, now I'm trying to, I'm waiting for this boss, so the organizer of this workshop, so that he say what as we go for lunch. Yeah, but keep tuned Fatres TV everywhere. Oh, Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, people have been following and they want to know what is going on.
This conference is based on wetland management solutions, and the company is based in Sweden, Dorothea. It is the first to be in Africa, and basically it's going to start from Uganda. So we are here to help or coordinate and also partner with the Ministry of Water and Environment, KCCA, and also NEMA in areas of flooding. Kampala has been having the issue of flooding. So the only company that does that, it has been doing that in other like India, like you have seen from the presentation, Australia, and very many countries, but not in Africa. So we now we have the solution for these problems. Thank you.
Okay. So now we are going for lunch. Then after.
We are going for lunch now. Then after, we're going to come back here. We have questions from the audience. The team answering that, we'll go for cocktail. We're going to have more questions when we have that time. Thank you.
Okay, people who are viewing, where should they know that this function has been all taken place?
The viewers, this function is at Africana Hotel, and it started 11 in the morning, and it will end 6 in the evening.
What about what was in Masaka?
In Masaka, we had the same program of experts doing the same work, doing the same presentations. So we had the whole city council represented with the Lord Mayor of Masaka, Minister of Water and Environment, and also the city councillors. They all present, and it was a wonderful and productive conference where people had to learn a lot of wetland management solutions, since the base for wetlands is from Masaka City. Thank you.
Okay. We are told that there is where we didn't go, but we still didn't step there. At least you can tell people.
Sorry?
About those places where you went, where you were not with.
Oh, so we went to, here in Kampala, we met with Wakiso Wetland Department, where they took us to Luigi, and it was, Luigi always has flags. So we went there, and it was a wonderful visit, seeing the issues and then getting the solutions. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think you should wait for him. We are going to have him in exclusive interview. He will be explaining everything. So thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
But you contested in Isinga.
Yes.
Any comment about that?
Yes, well, you have said, I contested, and by that time I was in Loop. But I changed and came back home. For now, I'm not contesting again, but whoever goes through NRM primaries, I'm there to support, starting from LC3 to the MP. So I'm now going to be supporting the president to win this election with 100% Western region.
What made you to change from NOP to NRM?
That's a hard question that I cannot answer, but as you know, situations happen, but I have my reasons why, which I cannot share now.
Hey, you may find that maybe there is advantage in NRM, or you realized where there is light, of which you can tell people that, for me, I realized where there is light, and I decided to defect NRM from NOP.
Well, I am not saying NOP is bad or NRM is good and NOP is good, no. We have all political parties around Uganda. So it depends on what you like. I was in NOP and I left. I don't have any issues with them, but I decided to join NRM because I felt like I should support NRM now. But all political parties, because they're very welcome. I will not be there and say NOP is bad, NRM is bad. Oh no. It's all about supporting the cause, because they have done well, NRM have done well, President Museveni have done well, though we have issues with the MPs on the issue of service delivery. You know, we have that problem, but President Museveni is giving powers to the MPs, ministers, but they do nothing. So if we start from the ground, I'm sure we're going to help this country.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So people who are viewing Fatwest TV, keep viewing. Just to have gone for lunch, we are coming back. Still, I think everyone is on live watching, whether you're on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everything is there. So be free. Thank you very much. I wanted to get some voices just for the few. Should I go back again? Hmm? Wait. Okay. People who are viewing Fatwest TV, today, like how we have told you, just to go to YouTube, you will find us. Go to Instagram, you will find us. Go to Facebook, you will find us. Go to TikTok, you will find us. And lucky enough, this Truxor, we are going to talk with some people, just few people, like 1, 2. Let us have the boss of this project. Okay, let's have the boss of this project of Truxor that is funding this training. I think you are seeing the boss. I mean, people who are watching. Let us have him. At least he say word on Fatwest TV. We are live.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm accompanying the team of Truxor, Sweden. I'm from India. We are their dealers in India. So I'm trying to share our knowledge of how we use Truxor in India as a solution for flood management, waste collection, trash, water hyacinth, or de-weeding, desilting kind of purposes. So the idea is to share our experience and knowledge with the various stakeholders in Uganda. And it has been a very encouraging and exciting time for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. People who are watching, at least you have seen the boss. He has been here explaining what you have been following, and I'm sure you have learned. Okay, we are moving, so let us get some politicians have attended this function, and they were so much serious on this. I think their target is to tell their people whom they represent or whom they are targeting to represent. Let us hear from one and only.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my name is Mwesi Freddy Sanga, aspiring MP in Nakaseke North constituency. I'm glad, I appreciate our panelists and the moderator for this conference. Suitable, sustainable wetland management conference. Yeah, it was good because we need to mitigate and protect our environment from, it's a lot that pollutes our environment. So I think this project, if it would really help us protect our environment, preserve our environment, and I wish, and in their presentation, I realized they highlighted Nakaseke, my home district, as most affected by wetland and catchment water areas. So I appeal and I request that once the project is taken, I think Nakaseke should be a priority in being, if they have piloted it as the most affected district. So I request that they should consider it as a priority district as in Central Region, because according to the presentation was highlighted as highly affected by the wetland catchment areas. So I thank you. I thank the Truxor and the entire team for organizing this, and I wish that if once implemented, it will really this sustainable wetland management conference. We pray that it goes successful, and they partner with the government to help protect and preserve our environment. Yeah, I thank you, and God bless you.
Amen.
Yeah.
I think you have heard how this boss has at least explained. He has explained on this project. He said that it will benefit Nakaseke people, of which it is true, basing on how he has got information. Okay, it is told that you are not coming as an MP, though you confirmed that in your introduction. Is it true?
My brother, I thank you, the media fraternity, and the Twa TV,
Fatres
TV, for the great work you're doing. And I can clearly assure you, I'm the chief mobilizer. I've mobilized NRM for the last 20 years. Two, I'm a son of the soil, and a chief mobilizer for Patriotic League of